and a really big one that we really need to limit, if not remove completely. And if we can limit and remove completely this next thing, then I can almost guarantee you that your life will drastically improve in every way possible. And that is the ability to not make assumptions. All right, the ability to not make assumptions. Now, this can be an assumption about another person. This can be an assumption about an outcome. Like I said before, are we making the assumption that it's a negative outcome or a bad thing, or is that an actual fact? A lot of the time, it's just an assumption. But either way, if we've made that decision, then all of a sudden our reaction or our experience of it is that of what we said. About other people is a really, really, really fucking big one, right? By us making an assumption on another person, it's us basically saying that we know best, that we know more than fucking everyone else. And because I make this assumption, now I'm going to base this assumption on this person. And all of a sudden, my whole perception of this person or an outcome or whatever it is completely changed based off something that I've just made up. Now, at the same time, towards other people, this can also include people that are close to you, right? So this could be someone you work with. This could be your partner. I make the assumption that I'm not good enough to do X, Y, and Z, or I make the assumption that I would love to do X, Y, and Z, but I can't because of this. Mind is now made up. And so my ability to actually see things clearly and properly is gone because I've already made my mind up. And so when it comes to ourselves, this is why it's really a really big one, is because the next thing I'm going to talk about leads into this perfectly. But when we've made an assumption on ourselves, we've now just closed off any possibility or chance or thoughts around the opposite of that. So the importance of communication, circling back to this, part of this importance is literally starting to vocalize not only to yourself, but particularly to other people. If it's in a workplace, if it's in a relationship, if it's in a business, if it's in absolutely anything, maybe even through social media, if you use social media as a tool for your business, the way to limit assumptions is to communicate properly. And most people just don't fucking communicate properly. I'll use one more example of a relationship one. Again, I'm not a relationship coach. I have no fucking idea, but I have a couple of good examples, and these are the two that I'm sharing. So if I've had a really fucking shit day, and I've had what I've perceived as a really shit day, right? No assumptions, but I've perceived it to be a shit day. And I'm coming home to my partner and I'm thinking to myself, hopefully they have, let's just think of something really petty, right? Hopefully they have done the dishes, or hopefully they've got dinner ready, or hopefully they've done X, Y, and Z because I've had such a shit day. And I walk in the door, they have no fucking clue that I've had a shit day. But I'm in this bad mood. I walk in, I'm really low frequency. I'm, real short and I'm real frustrated and all the rest of it. And that obviously is very noticeable towards the other person. Now, all of a sudden, I'm being really snappy with them. I'm pissed off because they haven't done X, Y, and Z. And now all of a sudden, they're at a really low frequency and they're pissed off. And so then they're pissed off towards you, and you're just like, what the fuck? This is the last thing I need after having a shit day. And then it's just a shit show. Now, that was all based off poor communication and assumptions. If I had have just made a phone call on the way home or a text message and said, hey, I've actually had a fucking shocker of a day. I'm in a pretty shitty mood. If I'm a little bit snappy with you when I come in, just know that it's not about you. And also, I know I usually get dinner ready, or I usually do the dishes, or whatever it is. Do you mind if you could do it tonight, just for tonight, because I'm in a bad mood? It would help me out a lot. Now, that very simple form of communication has just resolved the whole issue.